My most favorite place to be is outside. I love being outside, and I started gardening a while back. And what I started gardening is aloe plants. I love plants in general and gardening, vegetables. But today I'm going to show you how I transfer my aloe plants, my small little plants, into larger pots so they can grow big and I can be able to get the best use out of them. So first things first is if you have an aloe plant, just make sure that it does have the roots on the bottom. And what you'll need is soil, something that has pretty good nutrients. A lot of the times I'm growing things like potatoes and I can be able to take the soil right from those um, uh, potato dirt or soil, which is composted down while it was growing or something like that. Or I just have vegetables growing in my garden, and I'll kind of just show you some of that, um, some of my small garden that I have. But basically, I just have a larger pot, and I wanted to grow larger aloe plants so I can be able to use them a lot more for the skin regimen that I have. I use aloe for my skin, and it's great vitamins in aloe plant. And I have heard that it is called a what is it like a it's great for your skin because it helps with aging, it helps with wrinkles and things like that. It helps tighten your skin, so you can definitely um, your skin can definitely look and feel great. So I've been using it for quite some time, maybe for the last almost the last 3 years, and so this is how I do it. So I first have to get some sand, or dirt. Um, but this is how you remove the aloe from the pot. Is first I just kind of loosen the roots up by pressing it in here like that. And then once you have that, you just want to um, make sure that you're not pulling the actual um, plant where you're going to damage it. So you want to make sure it's loose enough to where you're releasing, and push down on the bottom here to make sure the roots are out. So I have several of these plants, and I got them from my mom. She started me on these when I moved over to the land that I live on. We bought an acre of land about a year and a half ago. And I'm sorry, actually almost 3 years ago. Almost November will be 3 years that we've moved here to a little over an acre, and we have a lot of plans for growing, and we've grown quite a lot of things since we've been here so far. So as you can see here, I have the aloe plant. I have the good roots. Let me turn it around here so you can see it. They are nice. There's a couple of worms in here. So that's all good nutrients for the aloe plants. I like putting them under my trees because if the leaves fall in, they give good nutrients because it eventually decomposes and turns into the fertilizer. So I always like to leave them in. You can even break them up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some sand or some dirt, find some dirt around the land and put in here so these can grow really great. And you want to make sure you do that. So stay tuned. I have now filled up my pot with soil and dirt. And where I got it from is I used to grow eggplant in that area. So once I pulled out the eggplant, um, I left the soil in there. The soil is still great. So I use that around my yard for other things that I like to plant. All right, so now that I have it in here, I'm going to transfer this into the other pot. And what I'd like to have is some water on hand as well, because before you plant it, you want to make sure that your soil is has some moisture. So once you do sit the roots down, they are not dry. So you can either put some water on the roots or put them down in the pot, which I like to do. So I'm going to stop and do that now. Okay, so I like to keep cans. I did start collecting canned food cans, and I just pull the wrapper off. And it's mainly for when I'm around the yard and I want water, or I want to grow some herbs or something inside of a can, I can. So it does tend to rust on the outside. The inside is perfectly fine. But anyway, the water is in here. So I am making a hole. What I'm doing is digging kind of a hole here so you can be able to place all these roots down in it. So what I want to do is pull, and actually I'm going to pull out some dirt, pull out some soil, because this is a very large root. And I'm making that space. Now I'm adding some water. Okay, so I have my water, poured my water into my pot now, and I have made my hole for my soil. All right, so now I'm going to place my aloe roots inside the good soil. You can break it up a little bit and just kind of shove it in here. Make sure it's taut, it's tight. And what I'm going to do now is take that dirt that I took out of it, and I'm going to just surround it. Make sure that it's surrounded with the dirt and soil. So now this, I was a little bug there, but now this aloe plant will be able to grow and flourish and get a lot bigger. Once it gets bigger, I'm going to transfer it into a bigger pot. But yeah, so this is great. Now, aloe does not require tons of watering, weekly watering. It just has to be a little bit out of the sun. It's not great to have completely in the sun for long periods of time. So I like to put it underneath my tree, and that's the only reasonable shade that I have in my yard. And I keep all of my vegetables right now underneath my my trees. So there you have it. I've transferred my largest aloe plant into this one. I'm hoping to get it to be so big and their leaves to be very thick. I've had them very large at one point, but once I started having them overcrowded like this, obviously the roots have nowhere to go. So I'm going to transfer some more pots, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have learned how to transfer the pots, and it's really easy to break up the roots also here. So that's something else that I may go ahead and just show you. All right, and it's the same thing when you have multiple plants. You want to make sure that you do the same thing. Push in the bottom of the pot here. Make sure those roots are coming out so you won't break anything. And you can just kind of let it slide out or pull them out a little bit here. You'll see that there are tons of aloe plants here. So you want to be careful with breaking them up. And any one of them will actually grow. All of them will actually grow. So they just need room. So you kind of break it up a little bit like that. Okay? And this is what you're looking for. You're looking for these roots, and you want to try to break it up. So make sure you keep them in the shade once you do plant them in these larger pots. Okay, so for this tiny ones here, because I want them to grow, I really don't want to pull that root there, but because I want them to grow, I'm going to take this right here and add it with some more aloe plants, maybe this one, okay? And then you put this one in a smaller pot that I have here, like here. And then this is gonna grow, and it's gonna grow big. And once it grows bigger, then I'm gonna separate them, put them in the larger ones, and there you have it. So you're gonna grow lots of aloe plants, be able to use it for your skin, your hair, your body. It is great. All right, have a good one.